All right. Turn this down. We can actually just shut it off probably. Get the camera going. What's going on, everybody? Let me go ahead and put my, because AC is probably going to be kicking on and off throughout the stream. There we go. A little noise suppression never hurt. Whoa. The hell? Let's go over here, here, here. There we go. Activate, deactivate. Hey, David Smith, how's it going? Kia. I saw you posted a new video. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Let's get this set up real quick. Get nice and comfortable. So I'm going to be turning this probably. We'll get some light set up here. That's a good thing I put the noise reduction on too. The neighbors are here with their yap dogs. All right. GTSY also. I have no idea what that acronym means, but thank you. I'm assuming it's good. So we actually have so I am a little bit late, but for the last video of the month for June, it's going to be coming out probably on Sunday. But I had a lot going on. I had to go. Oh, good to see you. Okay, there you go. Now I feel like an old man. I had to go and do some doctor stuff. I had to go out, drive like an hour out in traffic and go drop off some flies today and do some other stuff past couple days. But I got this recorded and I just need to edit it. So this is going to be the next video. It's going to be a Bendback sand deal, but what I did is I experimented and added some lead wire via wrapping it to add an additional keel and to add more, you know, a better sink rate, and also add to help it track right and add some jigging motion to it as well. As something different than a jiggy, right? You know, I want to test this compared to a jiggy and see how something like this swims. But this is going to be our giveaway fly for that video. So I figured we tie some of those and experiment with them, and also experiment with some different ways of adding weight possibly to it. Whether maybe it's better to tie some on the bottom or to wrap it or to add some sort of a bead or something. So that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming tonight. It's not going to be a super long one. Not that I ever stream long anymore, but I got a killer headache right now. So I was even tempted. I was like, oh, maybe I don't stream. I was like, I only stream once a week. I got to suck it up, buttercup. Got a little food in me. Maybe that'll help. But we're using the 34007's classic hooks. Just throw a little bend in there. Nice and easy. We'll tie a bunch of versions of these because I want to take them and go fish them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Believe me, I'm staying hydrated. I actually stopped drinking coffee too. I like switched to just drinking some tea in the morning. And I was drinking like 2 cups of like Intensio from our Nespresso machine. Really nice coffee. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pretty much stop drinking coffee, and it's been completely fine. I'm getting a little bit of caffeine from the breakfast tea, you know. Nice English breakfast tea, but oh yeah, drinking water is important, staying hydrated. Yeah, well, I stopped drinking coffee almost 3, 4, 5 days ago, and I haven't been having headaches or anything like that. So I think today it's just I was running around, I was stuck in traffic for hours, this and that, so it took me a while to actually get to eat something, so. All right. So we're going to go ahead. We got some body wrap here. I need to order a spool. I got actually just placed an order recently from saltwaterflies.com, but I'm gonna have to place another order here soon because I got to get a spool body braid. We'll tie some without weights and then some with weights. These are very simple. I mean, you could tie so many of these. I might whip up a bunch of these. What I really need to do is start working on a website. It's going to take a while for me to get that like to where I like it, so I got to start working on it. And I think I can work on it before I even start paying for a plan with Wix, so I'm going to have to start spending like a little bit of time every day doing that. Yeah, I've had one I did one in the past via Wix and it was pretty simple, but it was pretty good. But you know, the cost of running a website on Wix is, and a business plan is so expensive. It went up from like, it was like very cheap. It was like $100 and something, and it went up to like $400 and something eventually. I was like, ugh. And I was kind of not doing as much fly tying at the time, so, but I'd like to, you know, give it another go, but this time kind of put a little bit more effort into it. The cool thing is directly like under my YouTube videos, I can have the fly that I tied, let's say, under a surf candy video going directly to my surf candies. So that's pretty cool. But it is pretty expensive to have a, like to actually do online business, receive transactions and all that. But, you know, that's part of it. How's it going, Jimmy? Yeah, and I gotta go out and ship, or get some packages put together, ship the, what do you call it? Ship out the giveaway stuff. We are going for a sand deal, so we're keeping it somewhat sparse, but I don't mind having some hair on there. Yeah, like for instance, I just did a pretty big order for a guide. I do a lot of fly tying for guides, for shops and stuff and businesses, but a lot of guides and like groups of people going on trips, things like that. Whether, you know, for guides and shops, it's mostly striped bass stuff and false albacore, let's say. But for these like certain, you know, websites and these groups and stuff, or certain guides, I tie like a lot of exotic stuff, you know. Meaning like, you know, anything from tarpon to, you know, roosterfish style, you know, tuna, whatever. Oh yeah, I'm just see, I remembered you won, and just letting everybody know. What's going on, Jen? How you doing, man? Oh, for tuna, for instance, I'll show you. Like, I got some. We'll use regular hooks. These are Gamakatsu live baits. These are the sort of hooks that people use for tuna a lot of times, and you can tie flies on them. So a lot of times I will. The other thing are owner akais, are pretty good as well. Uh, the owner akais are especially made for big game fish with fly hooks, and they're not like, when I mean big game, I mean like tuna or marlin or sort of stuff. But that being said, you know, a lot of times when you deal with people who do that sort of fishing a lot, they'll use like traditional style hooks for like marlin rigging. When you're rigging up a marlin tube fly, they'll use like actual marlin hooks, like giant ones, essentially. You know what I mean? Not like massive to the sense of where you can't cast it, but like way big, way stronger and thicker than a fly hook, right? Because that sort of fishing you're not really casting. With a tuna fly, you're going to be casting it a good amount of times if they're not, if you know, if you're not chumming or something or whatever. So you still need a hook that's heavy enough to land a tuna, right? And you don't want to catch a tuna over 100 pounds on the fly, but that's, you know, if you're doing that, then good luck. You're on your own, whatever sort of hooks you use. What's going on, Nirvana? We're just tying some striper flies. I want to fish the surf. I've been putting it off. I've been quite busy, but so I want to tie some stuff for the surf. So that means sand eels are a primary food during the summertime. A lot of times in the surf, but also we're gonna be tying like crab flies potentially, or like some mole crab. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just kind of mess around. But I've been on a little bit of a bendback kick, so we're tying bendbacks. Fell asleep during the last one. I don't blame you. I don't blame you watching me. How's it going, Jen? Yeah, it was interesting. I was talking to a guide that I dropped off flies to today, and they've been having a pretty rough season. Fishing has not been that good out in Montauk. I mean, it's been decent, but it's not been consistent. And it's not been as good as other years, so it's a tough year for fishing, for sure. I've been seeing footage of freaking massive bull sharks right in the ocean out here. I've been meaning to go to the beach and go swimming too, and I'm seeing videos of giant bull sharks, and you can see the sand. Like, they're pretty shallow. You know what I mean? And then it zooms out, and you can see people, like, swimming. I'm like, oh my god, dude. That's my biggest fear, is a bull shark. That's, like, the actual sort of shark that you do not, that or a tiger. You got to be in somewhere like Egypt to really get messed up by a tiger. I love swimming in the ocean. We swam for years, but there's, recently, and there's always been sharks, right? But there's been a lot more sharks over the years, and as our bunker population grows, these schools of bunker off the south shore of Long Island, we're getting more and more sharks. And usually they just hang out by the bunker pods. So as long as you don't go swimming, like, and the bunker pods will come close to shore, but it's usually further east of where I am. So it's like not really a big deal. But if you see a bunker pod close, it's like, don't swim around it, don't go by it. But now we're starting to see drone footage of just big sharks, like bull sharks and stuff, just swimming. And South Fork Salt, who I mention here all the time on the channel, he's here on the island. He's an awesome dude. He's seen a lot more footage of sharks just loitering all over, or just kind of meandering, and not necessarily only sitting around bunker pods. They're like going inshore and swimming around and like looking, because there's all sorts of food. But so it's pretty intimidating to see a giant bull shark. So number one thing is, don't pee in the water when you go swimming. But the main thing is, don't go swimming alone. That's like this. If you want good shark info, the number one thing you do is you don't want to go swimming alone. Because sharks are way more likely to target prey that are alone. And the other thing is, they pretty much almost always target or attack something when they're from behind. If you ever go shark fishing with a fly rod, they will never like eat the fly like head on or something like that. They will always like, you'll see them like approach it real slow and like come up from behind. It's pretty interesting. I mean, some sharks will get aggressive and turn on it, but really the number one rule is just don't go swimming alone. And that's pretty much what I do. So I used to go swim pretty far out, and like I'd swim for a while. I'd be out there for like 30 minutes to where you can't even touch the bottom or anything like that. Feel super safe, And nowadays I'm like much more cautious, just because it's just like I'm just like, and I don't know, we may always had tons of sharks and stuff, but I feel like it's definitely has to do with like warming temperatures and also an influx of bunker. So it's just like we have a lot more sharks in general. Same thing on the Cape. I'm in big musky flies that on my big musky flies I tie, I use the 8-odd and 6-odd Stainer Gamakatsus. I mean, bull sharks you gotta watch out. They just kind of, they're very, they'll just kind of take a bite out of something as like a exploratory thing. I'm sure everybody here knows, but like, what do you call it? Jaws was based off a bull shark that went up a river in New Jersey. considerable amount of fresh water. That's one of the crazy things about bull sharks. They can go up into freshwater sources. So you'll find them in rivers and stuff way up in jungles. Pretty crazy. Only thing I learned when I lived in Alaska is I don't have to be quicker than I just have to be quicker than the person. Yeah. It's funny, what do you call it? People that go like hunting in bear country, what do you call it? Or one of the guys that built my rod that used to go one of my rods used to go my buddy's dad used to go hunting all the time. He's a famous rod builder in Alaska. And he was like, "Yeah, we used to bring a 357, but and it was for the bears, but it wasn't for shooting the bears. It was for if the bears were getting to you, then you had something to finish yourself off quicker." I'm like, "Oh God." Ridiculous. He's like telling us this story at dinner time. And a character. He was an awesome dude. Yeah, if you've ever seen the footage, I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of bow hunting in the past, traditional bow hunting. So Fred Eichler, he's got tons of videos. He's done all sorts of hunting. But there's a famous video of Fred Eichler when they're going down this river, and I think it's in Alaska. I'm not certain, but they're going down in this float tube, like three or four guys in a camera crew, and this mother grizzly bear comes. There's like two cubs, and this mother comes charging out of the bushes at the boat, and I mean it's crazy footage if you see it. It was so close. And they had like a big magnum or some sort of revolver, and they shot like the water in front of the bear, and luckily they were able to scare it. But they were like literally like seconds away from having this grizzly come on, like, and it was super shallow water, tiny little creek, like completely surrounded by thick vegetation. It was a crazy situation. That is some of the coolest footage you'll see. Oh man, Fred Eckler's a cool dude. Not Fred Bear, but neighbor got mauled by a grizzly a few summers ago up in Alaska. Oh my God. So with grizzlies, are you supposed to play dead? Is that the whole idea? Right? Black bears, you're supposed to fight back. And grizzlies, you're supposed to just go limp and hope they give up. I'm going to try and... Oh, I don't have peacock curl, unfortunately. I used it all on those deceivers. So that's okay. But this is essentially the sand eel Bendback. No, nothing innovative or something like that. But super simple. Bucktail, flash, two thin, like flat wing style saddle hackles, and just the color of your choice on top. So pretty simple, nothing too crazy. What we'll do is we'll start adding some weight. You tuck your so every once in a while, this thing that sucks when you're going to like the thread gets stuck right by the hook eye and then it breaks because it's sharp. That's something that's annoying. We got to build up some thread there. I mean, we're gonna coat it and box it anyway, but no, you tuck your head between your legs and yes. Goodbye, that is. Okay, gotcha. God, dude, my neighbor's dogs, they come out for the weekend sometimes. So it's like a summer house, and they just incessantly bark nonstop. I think it's theirs. There's other dogs next door that bark all the time too, but that's why I got my noise reduction. I actually got to let's get the AC going a little bit here. I'm not sure. I went the other way personally. It's crazy you don't realize how big they are until you see them. Yeah. I mean, even I've seen black bears. Even like a black bear that's a big animal. But grizzlies, knowing that like a grizzly or like Kodiak brown bear or something like that, those are like massive creatures. Frankenstein, what's going on? Do you work with dubbing at all on the bigger streamers like this? Something to lay on top of the bucktail for building heads? Are you talking about like here? Like wrap the dubbing? No, I don't necessarily do something like that. What we will use is we'll use dubbing like material. We'll apply it traditionally as like a dubbing if we're tying like certain shrimp flies. You know what I mean? And we'll put that, and then we'll wrap feathers over it, or something like that. The other thing I use dubbing material for is something like Seno's laser dub, which the material itself can kind of be from anywhere this lawn to that lawn. Is I'll use that as like a uh, tying that as like a streamer material where I'll pretty much tie it directly in the middle and then fold it back over itself, almost like a pseudo hollow tie. But no, I haven't done that before. I don't necessarily like building up massive heads on flies. You know what I mean? Because no bait fish has like a gigantic head like that. Unless we're talking about those like goldfish that you get at like the store where they have the gigantic eyes, right? You know what I mean? So I like having smaller heads generally. And once I put eyes on here and glue it, it's going to already increase the size here. Which, if you think about it, ideally, a sand eel, the bait fish that we're going for in particular, Frankenstein, the bait fish that we're imitating, the sand eel, is pretty sparse, right? So we don't want a giant head. But if there's something where we're trying to, let's say the fly is pretty large profile, and then we have a small head here, then generally like the eyes itself, I'll put pretty big eyes, and then the UV or whatever sort of glue I use will help fill in the head. But that is one way you could do it, right? So I always fished with a guy that was 6'2" and weighed 280. I'm a smaller guy myself, so I know I could outrun him. Oh man, that's have you had this conversation with him before? Like, yeah, if the bear comes, you're screwed, right? Did a juvenile coastal brown walked up on me and my roommate, Sawmill Creek, Sitka, Alaska. It's probably 700 pounds in juvenile. Damn. So you don't like the Popovic beast fly? Oh no, yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't have bucktail that's good enough to use it. We've tied them before on stream. Um I bought 24 bucktails recently, random. The shop was like talking to dudes, like, give me your best quality ones. I don't think there was a single one that was suitable for hollow tying, let alone long enough hairs and stuff to tie really big beast flies. But yeah, we've tied beast flies before. I don't want to spend $120 in bucktails to tie one fly if it has more than one color. Or like $30 use an entire single bucktail just to tie it. Because if you watch Ben Wally and how you're actually supposed to tie these things, you pretty much you like cut a section of material, let's say, you take this section of material, let's say we were going to use this for a hollow tie. Oh, great, that's a good amount of bucktail. In reality, that's how much hair, and we still even have some that's not long enough. That's how much hair out of all that hair we got that's that long. So even with really good bucktail, you end up using a lot, and it's extremely expensive. So it's like tying beast flies is like a luxury in my opinion. You know what I mean? And everybody and their mama does it, so I don't do that for money, right? I'll do it for myself for fun, but I don't tie them for money because it's just everybody does them. It's great. You can charge $80 for one, but like the amount of time, the amount of material and stuff, I'd rather tie, 10 kinky mothers. Or what's the equivalent amount of 8? I don't know, like 6 kinky mothers or something. Oh yeah, no. If you're tying a beast fly and selling it, and you're charging less than $80, then you're screwing over all the other people that tie beast flies. And not only that, I don't even know if it's worth it, dude. Unless you can bang that thing out in an hour, and you just have an unlimited supply of bucktail that magically arrives. And yourself. Yeah, you are screwing yourself over. But the thing is, like, you need to have, like, you have to tie a good enough quality beast fly for it to be worth $80. I wouldn't pay $80 for a fly, in my opinion, but, I wouldn't be buying beast flies either. I'd just tie them, I would either learn the time or you just gotta suck it up because that takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of material, expensive material. Oh, I love tying hollow flies. The hollow technique's one of my favorite, for sure, Eric. I love tying beast flies. It's so much fun. I usually like put it like I'm like watching a stream like Djibouti show or something. I'm watching like some sort of YouTube video, like a documentary or whatever, and you don't even use the vise for most of it, right? But hollow flies in general are fantastic, and you can do it with all sorts of materials. But obviously, bucktail, the traditional technique, is really the way. And this is probably what I'll say is like, you know how like they'll say like a golf swing, or let's say same thing as like playing guitar, right? I mean, some people will get, I'm sure just like golf, maybe some people will learn guitar very quickly, but even then, it's the sort of thing that it takes, you'll, you can get good at it, but you can continually get better, or you can continually work on it, right? And I think hollow techniques and hollow tying is in that sort of regard for saltwater fly tying. It's the sort of thing that no matter what, you can always work on it. Unless you're someone like Andrew Warshaw, then you pretty much like you can't really get better than that because he's at the highest echelon of like tying them. Yo, Dad Life, how's it going? I saw you've been doing tons of kayak streams. If anybody wants to check out Dad Life on Twitch, he's been doing a bunch of IRL fishing. Looks like it's been going good. Just got to go to the deer barber. Yep. Well, if you got some like cousin that works at a butcher, you know, in some town in Pennsylvania, and people love hunting there, then you might be in business, you know. My wife and I actually went to Alaska a couple years ago, and they have tons of canisters. They'll give it out the airport because you can't bring them on the plane. What did I miss Jin saying? Oh, bear spray. Does Walmart sell bear spray? Oh, because you can't bring it on the plane, right? I'm assuming. In your luggage, even. It's like compressed. I did a beast fly and just downscaled it. Oh yeah, micro beast flies are sick too. But I will say tying small hollow ties is harder than tying larger ones. There's something about it. Like short bucktail doesn't react the same way that longer bucktail does, even with the same level of softness or something, we'll say. Unless I'm crazy. I feel like every time I've tried to tie very small hollow flies with short material, it's tough. That's where I feel like something like Squimpish hair really comes into play. You know what I mean? Or some other material. I don't know if anyone else has found that, but I've tried tying like tiny hollow flies. So when I say like micro beasts, you know, it's usually like 5, 6 inches, right? And you just do end up doing a handful of ties with not super quality bucktail, just like normal, decent bucktail. You don't need the crazy length. You can tie like a 7 inch fly or something. It's a beast fly. But I remember like early on, I tried tying like tiny hollow flies, and it's really tough. You're almost better off just doing like bucktail deceivers or something, you know, or like a bulkhead. Selling beast flies for $100 seems crazy, and you think until you think of what your hourly wage would be building the thing. Yeah, I mean Ben Wally sells them for 100, I think, but he's like highly regarded as like one of the better guys. I don't know what Andrew sells them for. I hope he's getting 100. But talking to other dudes like all these guys that sell these beast flies and hollow flies that are like pretty much like you see them, all they do is like the bucktail stuff. My buddy, who got into it, he reached out to a bunch of people, and they were like, okay, listen, $40 for hollow flies, $80 for beast flies. And there you go. So just like your traditional 6 inch, 7 inch, really nice hollow fly with colors and jungle cock and all that, that's $40. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, I really should have just focused on bucktail flies early on. You know what I mean? And just become best friends with a bucktail retailer. Because I'm over here tying like hundreds of flies for guides at like commercial pricing. You know what I mean? Imagine losing an $80 fly. Oh yeah, you better be careful. 10-pound bluefish will take that thing in 2 seconds. How have you been? What have you been up to? You've been getting to chase those fish, man. I haven't gone fishing since like June, but I've been meaning to get out and do some. But working on some YouTube stuff. I was doing just really a bunch of tying, just working from home every day, and flies for shops, for guides. We got more stuff for shops. I have an order for some stores coming up. Then it's gonna be fall time, so I have to tie I got hundreds of teasers I gotta start tying for this local shop. How's that Regal? I love it. It's my absolute favorite. I will say I got it completely for free from the owner, Don. And he sent me replacement heads because I've worn the powder coating off of them, and I've literally they just got in rough shape from me just tying literally, I don't know how many flies over the years, got to be tens and tens of thousands of flies on them. And I was not cleaning them, so I'd get some rust here. So now I'm after talking to Don, I take a little bit of gun oil, some CL or something, some sort of gun cleaning lubricant, or something that, prevents rusting, and I'll just wipe it down every once in a while. But it's fantastic. I've had the base from the beginning, I absolutely love it. And yeah, I'm pretty much stress testing these. I feel like I'm tying the most amount of flies on a Regal Vise than anyone else in the world. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like with the amount of production fly tying I'm doing, maybe someone else is. I don't know who's on the Regal team or whatever, who's out there tying with Regals. But I'm the amount of flies we're pumping out on this thing is astronomical. So yeah, the Renzetti, I don't even know if they sold a saltwater traveler back then. I think you had to buy saltwater jaws, but that was what I had before this. And that was a great vise too. And I used it for 10, 15 years. And that was early on in my saltwater fly tying career, actually doing it for a living. That's what I used. One thing I found is that and you'll find any vise will have issues, right? But it's the company that behind it, Regal will stand behind their product. And I'm sure Renzetti will too. But with Renzetti, I had to buy a replacement. There's the lever situation, and they might have changed it since then. This was 20 years ago I bought this thing. There's a pin, and the pin would wear over time. And then it would pop out, and I lost it, and then the handle fell out, and the rubber band, the vise, it was I'm what the hell? So I had to replace that. But that was a great vise too. I used it for many, many years. Fantastic vise. But I think it would be hard to go back to a normal vise. And by normal vise, I mean where a lot of modern vices now, you adjust the jaws, right? And then you have a lever for opening and closing, or just open to close it, right? This has grooves, so it does limit you in the size hook you can use. You ain't putting something smaller than a size 4 in here. Size 6 even. Depending on the thinness of the hook, it might not even sit in the grooves. You'll have to put it in between in between the vise jaws itself, and you run the risk of, if that thing slips, it's going to explode. The hook's going to explode. It's crazy. This thing is so strong. But what I will say is that for production tying, you take the hook, open, close. Do your thing, open, put the hook in, close. It's so good, dude. Oh my God. I don't think I go back to a normal vise now where I'd have to adjust and do lever stuff, because this is just so quick. So works so well. I did have to adjust this. This loosened up on me and it started moving up. And this was something in the past. I didn't know how this mechanism worked. I was like, can I even adjust this? I was talking to Don. And it ended up rubbing right here in one of my previous vices and rubbed it down for a while. But what I did is I just loosened this Allen, adjusted this slightly, and tightened the Allen. And you can adjust it. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I think you can adjust it to where you can get it comfortable, because the leverage changes depending on how the lever is. If the lever's placed up higher, you definitely get less leverage. And if it's perfectly even, it gets pretty good. I find this is pretty nice for my hand, where it's actually tilted down slightly, so it makes it a little bit easier. Because Dude, this is pretty strong too. This is literally like doing a hand workout. And I'm left-handed. I wouldn't be surprised if like my right hand is like gotten stronger, particularly from doing this. But because I mean, there'll be days that I'm opening this. Let's say I'm doing 50 surf candies, and there's multiple steps that I tie each fly and take it in and out of the vise. That means I'm opening this fly like potentially 400 to 500 times to tie those 50 surf candies, right? So pretty interesting. Uh, yeah, but yeah, I love this vise. Yes, we're gonna be tying more of these. So these are Mustad 34007s, just like classic, right? I think they changed them now to SS1s, uh, or something like that for the model number. But if anyone's been tying saltwater flies, the 007 Mustads. So you take a pair of pliers. Depending on you can experiment with it, but depending on where you bend the hook, but depending on where you grip it and then bend, will change the way that the bend in the hook is. But with the Rico, I do it really simple. You can do it at the front. I like to do it a little behind it, and then I just go boop like that. Just a little bend is all you need. The idea is you want the material to be tied. If you're like, doesn't have to be, but these things can be inherently weedless due to the way that using stiff bucktail or stiff material. So if you are trying to achieve a weedless fly, you want to make sure that your material is above the point of the hook. So that way there's some compression for when it goes through like some weeds. Otherwise the hook point's going to catch it. So it's not perfect, but a bendback can be pretty weedless. You can do other things to make it better to be weedless, like putting some flex resin on the material where it goes over the hook, for instance, or the hook point. Renzetti bobbin, they have a rubber tip bobbin that I use because I tie with GSP, and it cuts into the metal. Yeah, some of those threads are pretty harsh, pretty strong. This is why I like the just regular monos or the flat wax nylon that I use. It usually works pretty good, but like some of that GSP stuff is it's like just if like I was commercially tying, it was just it's like harsh, on your fingers and stuff or your hands. I went to Popham Beach today and fished for 2 hours, not even a bite, using epoxy sand deal pattern. You'd think they'd be all over it. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know where Popham Beach is, but I've seen there's been there's a good amount of it's really finding the structure trying to find the fish, and it's not fish are not in every trough, right? I'd tie up some sand moles, some sand fleas. My buddy's been catching a ton of fish on sand fleas from what it seems like. And there's been a lot of like drone footage. You can see the bass just like meandering, eating the sand fleas as they're getting kicked up. Pretty cool. So we're gonna tie. I got one body here. We'll tie one of those at some point. But what do you call it? It's tough. The fishing's been tough in general. It's not been easy, in my opinion. All right. That's partially why I haven't been fishing much. Once the fall comes, it's like guaranteed, there's going to be a big migration of fish. We're going to get some action. But like when it's, inshore fishing's been tough, dude. Even with a boat, like talking to these guys, it's been tough as well, so. All right. This is one way that I wanted to see if I can do this. I want to have the bead. So can we get this on there? Also, which way do I want it? I think I kind of want the bead like this. I'm going to have to debarb the hook, I think. This is like a nymph bead. Oh, can I just like force it on there? I don't know if I have a pair of pliers. I don't think. I'm trying to think what I have that I can debarb this with. think I do, or at least I don't want to go rummaging. Let me see if I can like freaking bend the barb from. I don't think I'll be able to from that. Damn it, that's annoying. Do I not have a tiny little pair of pliers or something? I might, but who the hell knows where it is? That's what I wanted to do though. Let's try that. Let me try it one more time. I want to see if I can like bend the bar by doing this. Use my vise. Yeah, I probably can. Nah, see, I'd have to exert it quite a bit. I'm trying to keep this head nice. Let's see if I can just freaking... Oh, I know. Maybe I can use the desk. Okay, never mind. Like, just shot the bead. I'll try it one time here in the groove. Let's see if we can do it. Nah, it's pretty... Nah, I don't want to do it. That's fine. So I'll show... We'll just use some lead wire. That's the idea, though, is using the bead. I know it'll work. We know you can put the bead on there. I'm just curious what the differences are, so I'll just tie one off stream or something. But that's the idea. You're going to use the bead. I'll show you what we'll do instead of that. We'll use some lead wire like I did in the video. I just don't want to have to... Well, actually, you know what? How long we've been streaming? We're almost due for a break. So maybe we... it's a good excuse to take a quick little hookah lounge break so I can go grab a pair of pliers. It's actually probably what we'll do. We'll take a look at the Discord real quick. Eat up a couple minutes, and then we'll I'll go run down. I'll grab a pair of pliers, so that way we can do it right. That bead, don't ask where it went though. I heard it bouncing somewhere, but oh, look at that! I found it. Nice. All right, never mind. 3D EP flies. We had some slobs on sand crabs here. Yeah, that's essentially the pattern that I posted a video for recently. Was the essentially using EP fiber and doing a V-tie crab fly, which is pattern I tie all the time commercially, and then just modifying it. Let's take a look at the Discord, see when anyone's been posting. Fishing has been tough this year from shore. You're gonna take your kayak into the salt pond. Nice. Yeah, kayaks are good. We streamed striper fishing off a kayak for years. It was some of the funnest streams I've ever done. Just catching big bluefish and catching stripers and stuff. Well, this is some, I remember we checked out last stream, but this is new. This is Craggerall with one of two fish after getting sunburned in where? North Carolina. But very nice. Look at that beautiful redfish. Those fish are so beautiful, man. They look so good. Not a lot of dots on that one, but beautiful fish nonetheless. How's it going, Charles? By the way, and say hello. And you see black and purple. Talked to a lot of guides. That redfish, black and purple is always the color. Oh yeah, we got some cool stuff. So we remember checking out David's flies. He posted this one, I think, recently. Very cool. In Hawaii, by the way. Look at the background. Tying in the backyard or something. So Bamboozled with his latest rod build and first carbon fiber graphite rod. 6'9" weight with 4-piece fast action. Concept of marrying modern graphite with a natural handle and sole. Bamboozled. He's an amazing fly tie, by the way. If you're part of our Discord, if you're not, !Discord and Twitch chat are in the description below and YouTube stream. You should see it. But beautiful. Moorlind. Is that what you called it? Very nice. Wow, look at the thread work on that, huh? So how the hell do you even do that? Oh, I see. Okay. I see. Wow. Those are the individual thread wrap, thread wrap, thread wrap. You see that? So it's like green intermittently woven with gray to make it look like leaves or something almost. That looks sick. I don't think I've seen that on or maybe or probably. I probably have. I've seen like this looks sick too. You'll see this sort of like Wolfram's done some amazing stuff, but I don't know if I've seen this like a fluorescent or like the interweaving of the two colors of thread like that. That looks fucking great. Pardon my French, but wow. I almost thought they were like leaf decals. They look like leaves to me or something. Now, next question is, can he make pot leaf out of that? That'd be sick. Yeah, here we go. See, you could. There you go. It's a much better photo. So this is one strand or one, not strand. This is one like thread right here, right? Wrap, if you will. Thread, thread, gray, gray, green, 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 gray, gray. That's pretty cool. Jim Treckle's olive branch wrap. Or I don't know if tree likes or something. Yeah, that's sick. So we got Kaya here, or Kaya. You gotta tell me how to pronounce it. Is that like, that's what I'll start calling you now. Damselfly. Beautiful. Looking good. Really nice. This is stuff I haven't messed with a lot. You know what I mean? This is where I definitely am lacking. Is tying damselflies and dragonflies. We've done them. I could do them. But, just don't tie that sort of stuff a lot. Very nice. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. My boy's learning. Cracker roll. Looking good, dude. I would try and leave it. I was just saying, see this here? You can give it a little scoops, scoops, like that. Leave it. Looks good. Love it. I'm like officially a convert to the kinky meddler and absolutely appreciative of Johnny Kane's fly tying. No, it looks like bulkheads, perhaps. Glass rattle swim baits. Oh, so they are like bendbacks with rattles. Oh, okay. Interesting. I was wondering if that was the hook point and you put something there, but this is they're like a bendback sort of fly and you put rattles there. That's cool. Rattles are cool. They end up breaking or falling off every single time I use them, you know? So I just stopped using them. How's it going, Mr. King Bing? Call me anything but late for fishing. How's it going, dude? So we got some hoppers. Ants and hoppers. Very nice. I wish I had a trout stream in my backyard or something, right? Wouldn't that be sick? I gotta drive like 45 minutes. So I just go saltwater fishing, right? Maybe in the fall. Maybe I'll go visit. I probably won't do it. But maybe. Very nice. Beautiful. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, yeah. I'll go let me go find a pair of pliers. I'll go down. I'm gonna go grab a seltzer. Speaking of staying hydrated, go grab a Polar Spring, which are my favorite, by the way. There's like no added anything, just like natural flavoring. No sugar, no artificial crap, those are my favorite. But I'm gonna go hit the hookah lounge real quick, and then I'll grab a pair of pliers, and we'll tie up a couple more of these suckers. What I'll do is we'll tie a weighted one, and then we'll do a sand flea, and maybe we'll use a different material than the EP because I'm all out. So We could try a different material, see how it reacts. Oh yeah, you could. Oh yeah, yeah. In the fly tying room, jigs, rod building, plugs, poppers. Yeah, yeah. All that. Oh, excuse me. All that's good. We just made a separate fly tying from fish pick room, just so there's some delineation and stuff there. Um, and we keep the general for like general. I'll just post announcements in there or something like that. Is really what it is. But you can, whatever. We're not strict. All right, so we'll take a quick little break here. As you know, as tradition, the glorious, our favorite, the Albi highlight. And I'll be back in a second. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he did. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to our alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albi slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the Albi door too. Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! my god!
I gotta turn the boat so I can cast. Oh my god, dude!
Alright, we're back. The Albi video. I wish I could catch another Albi one day. Hey, what's going on, Papa? How you doing? Saturday morning. Oh, I forgot. What are you in Australia? I think you guys are half a day ahead of us over there. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Come back with pliers, so we're going to crimp this barb. It's not very good pliers, but let me go ahead and use my dominant hand. That would probably help. Okay, we'll take a look here in the Discord. Hopefully we should be able to get that on there. I think we will. So I don't want to do this. I want it like this. I put it like that and we do body wrapping. Might sit a little better. I think I want it like this. The way the water's going to hit it. We'll use some UV resin to fix it as well. Well, I guess we might as well put some threaded wrapping down here. Back end of the winter, yeah, that's right. I forgot you guys are also on the southern hemisphere, so. Hell yeah, it's starting to warm up. Go ahead and wrap this. And we could slip this like that and throw some UV resin on there. You know what I'll do? Go ahead and throw some thread back there, just so it doesn't move on us. Also, let me refresh my Discord browser. I'm in my YouTube browser. All right. Oh, we got a ton of stuff here. Let's take a look. Very nice. Dude, that's a squid teaser if I've ever seen it. Or fly. Nice. Yeah, this is like the sort of stuff I would tie for fluke. Fluke go crazy. If you throw a bunch of flash, you throw any sort of material that just has tons of movement. Like think of like a piece of like flesh, like a piece of fluke belly. Like how it moves in the water. This is a sort, and just wacky colors. This is the exact sort of colors and stuff I'd tie for fluke. Yeah, looks sick. Really good. Nice. Looks great. Hell yeah. Very nice. Cool. Thanks for sharing. I love it. And all looking really good. That one too. I like that. Looking really good. The steelhead and salmon crush it. Nice. Yeah, I've noticed that. Those colorful looking stuff. If I tell you guys the temperature is 18 degrees, you shit yourself. The thing is, I know Celsius is a thing. I can't tell you other than 0 is freezing, right? Other than that, I couldn't tell you. I know of the existence of Celsius. I refuse to acknowledge it at times, but it is there. We got freedom units, brother, right? Unlike a good old inch or Fahrenheit. Might as well just throw a little bit of thread there. Yeah, maybe that is a good reason to put the bead the other way, so you get a nice secure fit of that backside. But that's okay. We'll just do a little thread bump. I was thinking about just like the shape and profile of the bead and how it's making it like aerodynamic, if you will. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, I think 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit, which is freezing, the point at which water freezes. That's all I know. I remember that from school. Science. From there, good luck. Starts getting wild. Bright candy colors, yeah. Oh, I just shot resin on my chair. Damn it. Slowly over time, my nice chair will have tons and tons of cured resin and E6000 and super glue that's dripped all over it. Slowly. It's getting there. It's only a matter of time. If you didn't think I was a fly tire, it'd look very suspicious, the stains on here, but it's all freaking super glue and UV resin. Can't tell you the number of times I've dripped UV resin off of flies, off of bodkins. I laid the bottle flat on the table at times when it gets low. And we really don't want too much of this stuff. I don't know if I almost like the wire more. This is kind of a little big, but I'm curious. This might significantly add some weight to it, so. There's only one way we can experiment, you know what I mean? It's interesting. Sorry there, let me adjust the focus. I don't know if we were out of focus there. I apologize if we were. Okay, hit this with the light. And this is just to add some weight. Do you need to fish the bendbacks with weight? No, but I'm just curious what it'll do, how it'll change it. It's nice to mix things up every once in a while. Worked for Harley for a decade. The ability to cross-reference measurements is imperative. Oh yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine working with... I mean, the best I know is standard and metric for nuts and bolts. And even then, I was really good with metric in terms of 10 millimeters, you know, obviously class, because you work on even a lot of American cars use metric nuts and bolts. So in that regard, metric reigns supreme in my I didn't know all of the wrenches from heart. 360, I still don't. 3/16 and this and that versus, you know, whatever. But the amount of times, yeah, I had to grab a 10 mil or a 12 mil, 13 mil, a 17 millimeter wrench or something. It's like all the time. All right, we got our little bead on there, a little bit of weight and whatnot. You know, I kind of want to tie one of these with Squimpish hair. Let me grab some. used all my Oh wow. Oh, unless it's over here. Oh. I was gonna say I'm out of white Squimpish here, and that doesn't make sense. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Some white Squimpish blend here. And a little bit of flash pre-blended. Probably the best way to do this. Either fold it in half and cut it, or you could potentially V-tie it if you want, but fold it in half, cut it. That's probably the best way. Go ahead and tie some of this in there, using this as a bucktail substitute. You could probably go with a little bit of bucktail to start for the base. Could help support the Squimpish hair and could also help flip the fly over, but I want to try using all Squimpish hair for this, so. Squimpish hair is a good alternative to bucktail a lot of times. If you can't get bucktail in different colors, lengths, quality, you can use Squimpish hair. It's not the same, but it's like a different material that you can tie in similar methods. Definitely not a replacement. But you can tie very large flies with it, which I like. Okay, very nice. Go ahead and add a little flash. I'm not going to use any feathers here because we'll just keep it all Squimpish. Nice and simple. Now we can add some color on top. So I do have, we've been tying a lot of olive. We should probably do something different. It doesn't necessarily have to be exact colors of what a sand eel you would traditionally think are. Let's go with a little bit of just chartreuse. Kind of green chartreuse blend, if you will. Grab some of this stuff here. Do the same sort of thing where we fold it in half. Anything that's too long, we can always repeat the process. I'll keep this one pretty sparse too. Just by folding that half, cutting it. You can see it tapers really nicely, naturally. So you don't end up wasting a lot of material, which is kind of important, in my opinion, making the material going a long ways. Less material you can waste in general, the better nowadays, how expensive everything is. We can go ahead and, so I got some short hairs. I could have gotten rid of those when I was tapering it, so I missed them, but that's okay. Go ahead and add some eyes and glue it up. I'm going to, let's see if we can clean that up. It's going to get covered with eyes and resin anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see if not using super glue will come back to bite me there. Gonna bend those eyes too so they're not flared out. Kind of glue that material so it also kind of stays like this, so it's make sure it turns the fly over, and also kind of might help it with weed guard capabilities. Maybe if there's some stray weeds floating around in the surf, you'll catch less. Now you see I use like just the tip of this as like a bodkin. A lot of times you can get away with it if you're not tying like surf candies. And I just clean that afterwards before putting the cap back on. I was actually going to ask you about adding additional weed guards and their effectiveness. Yeah, so one thing you can do is you can take something like flex resin and you can run the flex resin along the top up to here, like that, right? So that way, the idea is that the fish can still kind of like push it down. You don't want to completely block it. A good way of seeing that sort of put into play, but with silicone stuff, you take ram's wool and spin it. There's a Popovic's technique from his silicone flies. He did a Bendback silicone, which is a spun ram's wool head trimmed like deer hair, and then apply silicone to the outside. It creates an air pocket on the inside. Beautiful way for creating mullet shapes. Work really well in Australia, I betcha. And if you learn the pop lip, now we're talking barramundi and Murray cod or something for sure, or saltwater. But what you do is the silicone head and the ram's wool and the bendback kind of runs this way, and when it gets to the hook point, Popovic's coated the silicone, and then he cut the material right there. So there's like a little V like this. So right where the hook point is, and when you depress it, you can still hook the fish easy. So you have to be careful with weed guard stuff to where it doesn't affect the hookup ratio. But you could just tie a stiff piece of mono as well. Like that's like a very traditional way of doing it, right? Either mono that's wrapped around, which I wouldn't do for bendback because that mono might affect the way how the fly turns over. But if you take mono and you just tie it like that, that might work with too. Like, you know, traditional bonefish, redfish sort of style weed guard stuff. I don't do a lot of fishing where we need that, even in the bays, right? We don't need really weedless stuff in general. It's mostly if I'm going freshwater fishing, so I don't do it a lot. But certain parts of the world, it's a very important thing is weed guards. You're fishing for redfish, you know, bonefish, you're fishing around coral. I mean, you're going to be getting snagged a lot, so it can be pretty important. But yeah, that bead should help turn it over. Should also give it some better jigging action, essentially. I like that Squimpish hair, though, man. That Squimpish hair looks good. I use this color a lot. So the other thing you can do, by the way, you can tie the schoolie fly, where you have a very large hook or a jig style hook. And what you do is you tie multiple versions of these going up the hook towards the hook eye. So theoretically, if we had a long enough hook here for a bendback, we tie one of these here, We tie another of these in the middle, and then like that, so that's a school of bait fish. It's called the schoolie fly. Very interesting fly. I don't think I've ever actually fished one. I've tied them back in the day, but that could be a fun one for a video, is tying the schoolie. You just need the right hook for it, really. But that where I feel like maybe doing like the bead, and where the bead is at the bottom, you have a bait fish, and that's the bead. It's like the front head of the bait fish, right? And then you move up and you tie your schoolies. That could be pretty cool because it could also help turn the fly over, right? That could be interesting. So, I've never fished with those, and it's interesting. I think it's is it more effective than a single? I don't know. I think it's more of like a gimmick sort of thing, but it's really cool. But because ideally what they do is they're trying to single out a bait. But I guess theoretically, if they open their mouth and 3 bait fish don't swim away, they'll eat them, right? I'm thinking of throwing some chunkers at mangrove jacks amongst the mangroves and pontoons in the canals. I'm an optimistic thrower, so I'm trying to avoid hooking trees. Yeah. So in that regard, doing a wraparound weed guard on your traditional flies is important, right? But if we are tying something like this, and you use something like bucktail, it'll be pretty good because bucktail's pretty stiff. The squimpish hair, this will be pretty good, but it's much softer. I feel like you might get snagged. But a traditional bendback like this, I feel like you might not snag it if you tie it a little thicker than this to match the bait fish you're going for. But traditionally, I think you're always going to be better off with a fly, normal hook fly, and then you have your mono tied here, wrap it all the way around, and either go through the hook eye and back and wrap it there, or just tie it right there, tie it behind the hook eye. So that way you have that wire, that stiff mono that runs like this. You know what I mean? And the fish can still bite it and depress it, like traditional bass fishing. We're talking like largemouth bass style mono weed guards, or like snook fishing. Because essentially the fishing you're doing is like snook fishing. So I would look into snook flies and things like that and check out how they do their weed guards. Because it's essentially the same exact thing. Micro tarpon and snook fishing, or medium-sized tarpon in mangroves, you'll see they do that sort of weed guard. So, yeah, no problem. That's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. All right. Do I have like a tannish that I don't have to stand up for? No, I might need to stand up. Well, that's a shame. But I probably do. I want to tie a mole crab. This is going to be the last fly we're going to tie tonight. Unfortunately, my hood is still killing me. But, what do you call it? I need to start working on or editing that video for Sunday. Because I'm trying to adhere to uploading my videos early for members, even if it's just a couple days. Because I have some members, and they deserve to be able to watch it a couple days early. But so that'll be coming out Sunday. Now I do already have this pre-rigged up, so I'm going to use it. So I am cheating you out a little bit, but it's pretty simple. We got some rubber legs. This is, we've been tying these mole crabs. You saw that. The whole idea is I want to try a different material to see how it affects the fly, essentially, right? So I already got my base, and it's pretty good. I'm just going to use the mono still. We got that nice orange, but these orange brass eyes, and we got our silly legs. And actually, I talked about in the video that, if you look, the sand fleas you can actually see their legs. So I think the silly legs are pretty good. I love knowing what the crossovers between our species could be and how to interpret it. Yeah, I haven't, when you're talking about mangrove jacks, I don't even know if I've ever seen anyone do that particular sort of style of fishing, but I know what you're talking about in that sort of style of fishing in Australia. I've seen for for potentially maybe some other species or something like that. But or like barramundi style fishing, or or even like I guess technically Murray cod sort of stuff. But anywhere we fish in like structure like that, we don't really have those conditions up here. The closest I could say is largemouth bass, really. But those guys down in Florida, they know what they're doing with the snook. It's like very similar sort of stuff. The only reason I know half this stuff is because there's Australian guys that streamed on Twitch and still do and whatnot, make videos that I've seen, and there's pretty good Australian fly fishing community. So I've seen some pretty sick stuff on YouTube over the years. So I've got a little bit of an idea, but we got to win the lottery so we can start traveling and go fishing all over. But... all right. Ooh, this is a good color. This is like a gray. I like this. Okay. Tanned gray. What I'm gonna call it. Yep, the Aussie bass, the salmon. Oh yeah. Well, if you should check out Shook One. He's from I think he's from Kansas. He's like a former Halo 1 pro player and freestyle rapper, but he's American. He lives in Australia, and he IRL streams every day. And he goes to Fraser Island and camps on a tent and goes fishing every day sometimes. And he goes fishing pretty much almost every day. He's got a sick Hilux, I think, or FJ. But I think he's like becoming an Australian citizen too. I don't even know if I think if I'm not wrong, he's like straight up Aussie now. But he's an awesome dude. I've learned a lot of Australian stuff from sitting in that chat back in the day. It's just full of Australian guys, or a good amount of Aussies. Like, yeah, mate. He's out there chasing 3-meter flatties, looking for a 3-meter flatty. I love those flathead catfishing. Yeah, you should check them out then. The Real Shook One. Actually, let me see. I'll type it in chat for you. Hold on. Shit. How do I do this? Is there a way I can do this without? Community, maybe? I'll just pull up Twitch again. Hold on. Is he streaming right now? Let's go to my follower. Oh, dude. Like, they completely screwed up Twitch, by the way. Like, they ruined the dashboard. Or they, like, ruined it. Like, you used to be able to see your followers easy and stuff. God, it's trash now. Oh, he's streaming right now. But here, let me, oh, dude, I'm on a different computer. Oh, I forgot. Here we go. Perfect. I can do it here. Haha! There you go. That's the Real Shook One. He's in Australia. He's streaming right now. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I spelt it right. No, yeah, see, because he spells one with the 3 at the end. There you go. He spells it a little funky. But thank you, Express X. Yeah, he's a cool dude. His freestyle streams are great. I knew if I tried to remember it offhand, it would be hard. You know what I mean? Yeah, every once in a while I remember how to do streamer stuff, Papa. So it's all good. I forgot I could type it in the restream thing. So, I've been hating on Twitch recently with how stupid they are and how we can't, like, put YouTube chat on the screen, this and that. But YouTube recently, I think they're doing something, Moist Critical and some other folks were talking about it. Essentially, they're going to implement something where They're going to use your user data from like you using YouTube. And if they think you're under 18, you're going to have to provide some way of proving it. And they might want an ID or something, or like a photo. And like people are freaking out about it, and kind of rightfully so, because we're going down some weird paths now. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, well, like what's to say if let's say you're, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something random. You're an adult, but you like watching anime or something, or whatever it is, right? Then all of a sudden YouTube's like, oh, well, you might be a kid, and you have to provide photo ID or something, or like I don't know, some sort of government ID or a photo or something. It's a little strange, People don't necessarily like giving their information like that, but they're doing it to try and protect children, is what they're saying, which I get what they're trying to do, but it seems like they're going down a pretty slippery slope. So I've been hating on Twitch a lot recently, and I love the actual community and stuff on Twitch, but God, the people who run it are terrible. But I gotta get, I gotta throw shade on both sides when it's due. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe there'll be enough backlash, but I'm pretty certain like YouTube's just gonna do it, right? Like, I don't think we can get away with that one. I don't think they even care. They're like, oh, no, we're doing it. Because I think places like in Britain, they're like banning, and I think Australia too. I think, aren't they banning kids from under 13 from using social media essentially, or like Instagram or YouTube? I think it's YouTube, right? In the UK or something. Which probably is for the good. Because God, I mean, everybody nowadays, even like me or my parents or anybody that has a cell phone nowadays, you look, they're just staring at their phone all day. It's terrible. Like it was so much better when we didn't have these stupid things in our pockets. Life was sick. There was definitely inconvenient a lot of times, but people like actually talk to each other. Nowadays, like people don't like even look at each other in public. They just, even while they're driving, they're still looking at their phone. It's terrifying. But let's get another color and mix it in. With that being said, like, do you really want look, I'm an American, right? Hell yeah, brother. Do we want the government to tell us what to do? Hell no. That's like the whole, we're all pretty big on that in this country. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting, but hopefully YouTube doesn't do that, because that would be very annoying. I'm not at risk. I don't watch children's stuff, The biggest thing that could compare to that is maybe like back when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh a couple years ago. Yu-Gi-Oh is like essentially classified as a children's card game, but yeah. Hopefully they don't do it. There was a time, dude. Oh man. The early days of YouTube were wild. There's a time when YouTube was sick. And I can't, I'm over here, I'm making ad revenue off my videos and like literally paying bills with YouTube. But before YouTube was fully monetized and this and that, and it was like kind of the wild, wild west, man. It was something else. Internet was definitely different back then. Come a long way. Oh, nice, Axe. And we're getting more and more Aussies coming in here left and right. Must have heard we're giving out free durries in the hookah lounge. You gotta be legal age, of course. Well, the whole idea is, I think technically they have a whole kids app on YouTube. That's why you have to be, as a YouTube creator, I have to be very specific that I'm not making content for kids. Otherwise, you can it's under a whole different strict set of guidelines, because they technically have another app called the YouTube Kids app, right? Which has a whole different way it's run, and that ad revenue is done and this and that, right? So, what do you call it? So technically, I think they've for years been building their own kids version of YouTube, where it's supposed to be for kids, essentially children's content. So like that's another argument of like why the hell should we be giving you our thing? Because the whole idea is like, well, it's to really be parents that are like, okay, parental guardian controls on their phone, but I guess Google's like, well, that's not happening clearly. So we're gonna take the matters into our own hands, sort of deal or something. But you know, these are important issues for sure. We don't want to lose our rights, but this is also a private business, so technically they can do whatever they want. Although this is another thing is you should argue that like social media is technically like the public forum nowadays, right? So these are almost like public services, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you know, and the social services they provide. They're almost like public utilities at this point, even though they are private companies. So you could argue like, you know, that maybe freedom of speech should apply or something. But in the end, no matter what, it's a company and they can do what they want. That's just the way it works. They aren't public. They aren't, you know, municipalities or you know or government-run organizations or something. They're private companies. So followed you years ago, bud. Always keen to learn new stuff about fishing. Oh hell yeah, man. Yeah, there was a time where we streamed a lot. We were going fishing every day. We were flat time, this and that. Now it's a balance. I find it's like I don't just do one thing. We do all sorts of things. Yo, Brew, thank you, my dude. I'm sorry if that was loud, but Brew's reeling in a marlin with the 67 months. Thank you, my friend. Round of applause. That's right. Turn it up, Jerry. Turn it up. Yo, thank you, Brew. Appreciate that, my friend. The tier 1, buddy. Thank you, dude. Support over, what is that? 15 years? It's got to be 67 months, something like that in Celsius. But thank you, my friend. Hope you're doing well, dude. What have you been up to? So as you can see, it's pretty simple. We're just V-tying. Nice and simple. Nerds. If they're a business in the U.S., then they have to follow constitutional guidelines. Yeah, there's certain things, but they're still business. So they don't. There are certain things you can do. Like if you don't like someone, you can fire them as an employer, right? You can't fire them because of certain things, but if somebody's got like a crap attitude and this and that, you're like, all right, well, you know what? You're fired. Get out. You know what I mean? Like, I got freedom of speech. F you. I hate you, boss. You suck. Oh, you got my paycheck, by the way? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, God. You're just like constantly just trash talking your boss. All right, I'll be back in a couple bit. I'm going to go get some coffee now. Yeah, it doesn't apply to private entities, is the thing. Yeah, it's about what the government can or can't do. Yeah, exactly. As nice as it would be. You know, Mark Zuckerberg he's like, no, this is my company, dude. We can do what we want. Or whoever the hell is running YouTube can do, you know, whatever they want, or vice versa. What's going on, Drew? So we're gonna end up trimming this, by the way. I just wanted to mention that though, because I've been doing a lot of Twitch crap talking recently. And that's purely because some of the things they've been doing, it's just like so dumb, dude. I've been streaming on the platform for like so long and I've been watching for years, and it's just like, ugh. I don't know what they're doing over there, but luckily it's the people that stream on there is the reason I watch at times. But I definitely watch less Twitch nowadays, especially because I'm subscribed to less channels, and the ads, dude, are just, whew. They're getting bad. They're getting bad on that platform. For like, people are like, just get an ad blocker. I never mess with those things. I don't mind watching a couple ads, but if it's like 3 minutes of ads every 30 minutes and the ads play the second something interesting happens, like, dude, I'm out. Like, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, imagine we sat here and we were talking the whole time. I'm like, okay, you guys ready? We're going to tie the fly. And then 3 minutes of ad plays. And then when you're done, the fly's like done. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm glad you guys learned all that stuff. By the way, if you want to use your Twitch Prime, feel free to use them. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done, dude. Trying to watch somebody play games or something. I'm like, are they running the ads when the good stuff actually is happening? It feels like it. I feel like the mods are doing that on these bigger channels. I try to run, first off, I don't run any ads on Twitch because I'm allowed to do it. What do you call it? On YouTube, to monetize a channel, I got to run ads, but I put it on conservative, the least amount of ads as possible. So I personally, if I had thousands of viewers, that would be one thing. It would be actually viably responsible. Like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to run a minute of ads and you guys are going to help me run the channel essentially and pay for equipment and stuff like that, because it does make a difference. But when I have like 10 people watching me, 20 people, I don't want to be running ads all the time, especially when you're a smaller streamer. You don't want to be getting new people discouraged, right? If you're like somebody streaming, you got thousands of viewers, okay, then you can do it, and the chat's like ad time, yay, or something, whatever. Yeah, Twitch Turbo, that's the thing though. A lot of people say it. If you do Royal's saying, if you do watch a lot of Twitch or you do watch a lot of YouTube, I'm thinking about getting YouTube Premium. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have like any subscriptions at the moment. Not one. That's nice. Or I do have one. It's Epidemic Sound, which I've had for years because I have to pay for. I don't even use it anymore, but it's good to have. I feel like I pretty much use just YouTube Studio Music now for my YouTube videos, but we still use Epidemic Sound on stream at times. So, yeah, Premium or Twitch Turbo, those are really nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say they got the 2K now, but the problem is like 2K streaming, like you need a lot of bit rate. YouTube in general seems to have really nice quality, even at both running 1080p. It seems like the bit rate's better on YouTube, and you can run higher bit rate and still run your stream at 1080p. So you can run like 12,000 bit rate to YouTube, and you're capped to, let's say if you're a Twitch partner, at 8,000. I'm capped to 6,000. I think I want to say. My bit rate, we run 4,400 bit rate, kilobytes per second. Because I'm not a partner streamer. I don't think I can go 8,000. I think the most I can do is 6,000, and we've tried 6,000. My internet's not capable of doing it. We maybe should try and bump that up soon, honestly, because now we use Restream. Restream is fantastic. But that being said, YouTube, you can use a higher bit rate. So generally, like, streams look really good on YouTube. But now Twitch has 2K streaming. But apparently there's, like, I don't know. It's like there's been some issues. But so I think that means you have a higher bit rate. I don't know. I don't know if the bit rate's higher now or something. It's really the bit rate is what matters. All that means is like how much data can it send. We don't really have to worry about a lot of that because not a lot is moving. But if you're watching a video game stream and it's nothing but green leaves everywhere, that's where you see blur occurring, right? But hopefully on your guys' end, if you're running this, I mean, I'm only streaming at 720p. We should try and bump it up. We'll see. Because the problem is to stream at 1080p, you need 8,000 bit rate. If you stream at 1080p with 4,000 bit rate, it's going to look worse than 720p at 4,000 bit rate. So these are like things that I've just learned over the years and whatnot, but we should try and bump it up at some point. But I think we found this is the sweet spot for my crappy Optimum internet, so. And we pay for the better internet and everything. But until they run fiber out here, it's just going to be like that. And even then, they're like, why do you, you talk to the internet company, they can't even understand. Like, you think by now people would know about streaming, like they work for an internet company, So that you think they would understand that there are some of their customers that require a ton of upload, but if you ever talk to them, they always talk about download, because download is like if you're watching Netflix, and if there's 5 people watching different Netflixes at your house, you need the download. But as a streamer or somebody who makes YouTube videos or something, anything like that, where you're uploading, that's where you need the upload, right? But they don't want to give you the upload; they want to give you the download, right? So they're always like, you're like, I need some more upload, and they're like, what do you need that for? You know what I mean? You don't need that to watch Ninja Turtles on your Xbox or something. I'm like, no, 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 you don't understand. So, and they're like, oh, well, so the next step is you got to get like a business account. And a business account is like you're paying business pricing per month. It's like some crazy astronomical pricing or something. So until we can get like fiber in our municipality, like they run fiber as part of like the infrastructure out here, we're screwed essentially. So you got fiber, dude? What are you doing not streaming, bro? You got all that bit rate. Let me get some of that. We got telephone wires. The squirrels out here, they're chewing on them, you know? Yeah, this is going to be a sand flea imitation. I'm going to end up trimming it too. But there's things called sand fleas or mole crabs. They're in the sand. The tide washes them out with the waves, and the striped bass eat them. We mostly tie larger stuff because we're mostly tying saltwater. And this is like a smaller, medium-sized fly. This isn't even that big. We'll tie stuff at up to 12 inches for striped bass at times. So generally, you're going to see me tie. All the hooks are going to be anywhere from a size 4 up to a size 8 odd. This is what you're going to see here on the channel, pretty much. Saltwater stuff. Yeah, I stopped using Spotify years ago, too, yeah. I don't know why I liked it, but it just, I think they were, like, playing ads on Spotify, even though I was paying for it or something. I forgot what was happening. Something happened, I was like, dude, I'm done with this. I'm more concerned with who all owns these top-tier social media companies, how close they get to influencing or being able to influence by government interests. I know it doesn't affect fly time, but yeah. Yeah, you know, it's definitely, you're going to have, if you got kids, you know, and, you know, our kids are definitely, I don't have them, but if I ever do, you know, it's definitely something you're going to have to, like, raising kids is going to be tough. It's just being a kid is going to be tough. It was a lot easier in the 90s. You know, nowadays there's just a lot more of everything going on. It's probably a lot harder to be a kid nowadays, but the world's a lot crazier place. But, and I, you know, here I am. All of my business relies on social media, so I can't talk too much crap. But I will say that these cell phones are going to be our downfall. Everybody's going to end up looking like me with a screwed up neck, scoliosis or something. Make sure your posture is good if you're going to be staring at your phone. See mother lovers out there hunching, playing Candy Crush or something in line or some shit, yeah. Sees the memes of production. Mm-hmm. Ever do flies for dolphin? No. Oh, fish, not mammal. Thank you. I don't know why I actually thought you meant the mammal. I don't know why I actually seriously thought you meant dolphins. Yes, you're talking about mahi mahi. You know, I've been asked weirder things on Twitch before, so you don't seem like that, but still, I've been asked weird things on Twitch. Yeah. Oh yeah, we tie mahi flies, or just pretty much those roosterfish flies we tied. Guys, here I'll show you. Let me see if I can find them. Do I tie mahi flies specifically for mahis? No. Catching mahis? Yes. Did I not save his number with a name, or? Thought I did. Let me see. Hold on. When did he come back? He was sending me these. shit. No, I don't know. Let me see. I might have them saved on my phone. Give me 1 second. Big bull mahis on our flies were caught in Baja. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. This is Don, one of my customers. Awesome dude. Check that sucker out. These are on the Kinky Muddlers, or the Rooster Muddlers, which we have a video on how I tied these. And I tied 500-600 of them this year for guys. Oh, here's another one, which you could tell I was also watching an Asmongold video. Oh, wait, no, that's the same photo I showed you, right? Oh, no, this is a different guy. Oh, this is the owner of Cortland Fly Lines. Look at the size of that one, dude. There's also a video of Asmongold watching people burning stuff in LA. Don't worry about that. That's the owner of Cortland Fly Lines with one of our flies and massive bull mahi. Check that out. That's sick. What I wanted to show you, what about the big roosters? I don't have any of those saved on my phone. I gotta save some of those photos. You do want to see something? Check this out. A Gulf flitterary butterfly. I've actually raised these before from caterpillars and released them. But we get to see them every year. I'm pretty certain that's a Gulf flitterary, it's called. Very interesting name. Let's see, is there anything else on my phone I can show you guys? Nah, not really. All right. Yo, what's going on, Jim? How you doing? Why would you fish for dolphins? Yeah. Yeah, he means mahi mahi. So glad I grew up without electronic devices. Yeah, I remember when I had a Game Boy Color, and my mom's like you're playing on that thing all the time or whatever, this or that, you know what I mean? And nowadays it's like, dude, compared to like with cell phones, like we are just, I don't know about you folks, but it's like it's just part of your everyday life, and especially if you use it for business and this and that, and you know, it's so easy to just spend so much time on it. Oh god, yeah. And you know, I love it, but on the other hand, dude, I'm telling you, dude, cell phones are gonna be. People will look back years later and be like, "Ah, that's where it went wrong. The downfall of humanity. The iPhone 6." No, or something like. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just hate seeing, and I do it too, but I like hate seeing like my parents staring at their phones or something, you know, and it's like, you just see everybody, like, even at restaurants, you see people staring at their phones. I definitely try not that I go to restaurants, but I try not to use my phone and stuff like that in certain places. And you'll see families where like the entire family is looking at their phone, which is like, damn, dude, that's wild. It's like just a different childhood, I guess, than, you know, ours are going to we were, you know, at Friendlies, you know, there'd be those games you could play with the whole family. You'd be like doing some coloring thing or something, you know, or everybody's just like the dad's on Twitter. He's like, God damn it, screaming at somebody. He's like arguing with somebody on Twitter. He's like, I love Fortnite. Oh god. Yeah, but hey, you know, the times are changing. You know, the times are changing. So, like Bob Dylan said, chilling, good, man, good. How's the weather up there in Jersey? Dude, I'm telling you, this summer's been fucking, I mean, knock on wood, we got August, but even if August is brutal, this summer's been just really nice. I mean, it's been a little hot the past couple weeks, like intermittently, but the entirety of the summer up here in New York, on Long Island, has been like freaking so nice. Oh, damn. Okay, so it was a little hotter. We did have a couple days where it got in the 90s, but 103. Sheesh. God damn. Oh, yeah, I think my dad actually went shopping that day, and one of the places we go shop, one of the towns where it's just full of all the shopping places. It's pretty much the whole town is parking lots. It was 103. It's also not by the ocean either, so it gets so hot up there. All right, we're gonna trim this real quick. It was nice. I went and met this guy today, dropped off some flies. It's funny, we both didn't know each other. He's been doing this for years. I've been doing this forever. And he was talking to some people and they were like, "You don't know Mike?" And I was like, "How do I not know you?" I mean, I was like, because I know everybody essentially. Whether I've worked, whether I tie flies for them or not, or I pretty much know them or they know me, because I've just been doing it forever. The island's only so big, especially out here in the east end of Long Island. But so it was nice meeting this guy, and hopefully getting some more. He said you're gonna be tying some more flies, so I'm like, hey, let me know. I'm down. That's what we're here for. That's how I pay the bills. But that being said, I definitely slowed down with YouTube, and I was doing like 3 to 4 videos a week, and God, man, I was like cruising and it felt so good, but I burned out for sure. So I got to go manageable. So I think a video a week is good. I would like to, I don't want to it's tough. I don't want to set I don't want to make it too crazy, right? But I want to definitely, I want to put a significant effort. I enjoyed, pumping out videos. So I got to find a healthy balance. I don't know if it's every week's only going to be one or if I might, but I'm not going to set too much of a, I don't want to get caught up and be like, oh, I got to rush it out or do this or that. So, but I may make more than that too. But I'm going to shoot for at least once a week. So, because you have to be consistent in YouTube. Same thing with streaming in general, everything. But YouTube in particular. So, we got the new one. I think they're going to be Sundays. I like Sunday uploads. It seems like Sunday videos do well too, view-wise. And I like that upload at 11 a.m. or something. You know what I mean? 10 a.m., 11 a.m. on a Sunday seems to be good. So that'll probably be our upload day. And it gives me time, I can film it during the week and then I can edit it and this and that and work over it and then do my final voiceovers and revisions Saturday night if I need to or something, right? And then we're good. But there you go. That's how we're trimming that right there. It's funny, if you take this, what does that remind you of right there? If you take away the dumbbell eyes, for instance, this freaking reminds me of a mousefly, dude. You could totally tie a mousefly with this stuff and just have a tail off the back. You know what I mean? But it's very simple. We're just going for a sand flea-esque shape. Now, I will say Squimpish hair isn't as nice for trimming as EP, but it's not made to necessarily be a trimming material. Actually, it does trim up pretty good. But you gotta a nice sharp pair of scissors will help. We're going for that profile. But nice and easy. And the material tied on top, along with the brass eyes, will help whoop, flip it over. And then this will be just rolling around in the surf like this. So nice and easy, nothing crazy. But there we go. We got some flies tied. And I still have a headache, but that's okay. We'll go drink some water. Maybe take a Tylenol or Advil or something. But eat a nice peach. I've been eating peaches, kiwis, oranges, tangerines. So good. So I actually went to the doctor's today. So I went to the cardiologist not too long ago. And blood pressure was a little high, blood sugar and stuff, but cholesterol. So he's like, okay, chill out on the dairy and the cheese. Right? Oh, dude, I'm living the bachelor life. I'm single, baby. All right. What do you call it? And I stopped pretty much eating cheese. I don't think I've always eaten cheese once or twice since then. And I've definitely been keeping an eye on my diet. Not that, I was 168 pounds when I went and saw the doctors a month or two ago. So it's not like I'm overweight or anything. And I'm like 5'11", 6 foot. So, but I actually lost 10 pounds from stopping eating cheese, which was interesting. I'm down to 163 or something. Which he's like, don't lose any more weight. By the way, he's like, don't. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know. I didn't know, it just happened. Um, and I've also stopped eating like sweets and stuff. Not and by sweets, I just mean some cookies every once in a while. Like a sleeve of Tates. You know, they had come with like 6 cookies. Those Tates cookies, whew, dangerous though. But I'm trying to like watch out for my blood sugar and stuff. And my blood pressure though went down. So it was, I forget what it was. It was like, it was kind of high. It was like 160 over something. I don't know. I don't remember. And that's pretty high. Um, Not like dangerous, but it's like they're like that's high, and is down to like 130 over 70 or 60 or I forget what it was, but they were like, oh wow, much better. All right, good. So that helps. He's like, next thing is you got to quit smoking tobacco. I'm like, yeah, I know. So, but one thing is though, I got to go to the cardiologist. I went and did a CAT scan or an MRI or one of those things where they put you in those space machines with magnets flying around. And they gave me this injection that opens up your arteries because they wanted to check to see if there's any plaque buildup because he said my cholesterol was a little high. And he just wanted to be, he's like, you know what, let's be safe. Your insurance is going to cover it. Let's do it. But they mentioned something else while I was there, and I'm like, no, that's not why I was here. And I'm like, oh god, it kind of freaked me out a little. So I got to go see the cardiologist, and hopefully everything's okay. But the whole idea was talking to my doc too. Is like, I'm absolutely against the idea of like medications and things like that, and I just don't like any of that stuff. So it's definitely, I'd rather make lifestyle changes because I'd rather be healthy than trying to like uh, try and take some medication or something. If you have to, you have to. But I mean, my doctor's like, yeah, absolutely, dude. You're in your 30s. You shouldn't be on medications or anything like that. So, but he's like, everything's going good. So, increase the zinc, the magnesium, the Bitcoin, and the K and the D. Okay, so I got to get some Bitcoin and then vitamin K and vitamin D. Okay, for extra masculinity. Oh, hey, I mean, fuck. I hope my voice doesn't sound that. Like, I'm in my 30s, like, I hope I'm a little, somewhat masculine, what the hell? Snag that Zin. The kids love it. Isn't that stuff that you, it's like a nicotine pouch you put in your mouth or something like that? I feel like I'd throw up if I had those or something, but. Nah, we'll cold turkey it when we get there. I'm not there yet, but we're getting close. So, eventually, I'll just get to the point where it will taste so bad, the organic tobacco I use, and I mix it up with some of that greenery, you know what I'm talking about? But eventually it'll just get to the point to where I'm like, and I'm getting close to the point to where I'm fed up. Yeah, but there's no tobacco. Yeah. I'm that the nicotine will definitely, like, when I stop smoking, I'm gonna be an asshole for a week, for sure. Like, there's no doubt. But that'll be the way it is. So just suck it up, buttercup. So haven't had a heart attack yet. Yeah. That was the main thing. I'm like, oh god. I was like, listen, dude, again, the cardiologist like, listen, I want you to get some tests done. I'm like, dude, man, we gotta start taking this a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? We live in a world where they're being pummeled with different things. Yeah, of course, that there's certain things, but luckily, hey, don't eat a lot of processed food. You know what I mean? Probably helps. Vitamin C helps with absorption. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm gonna take an emergency because I went to the doctor today, and that's what I do just in case. Because I feel like if I'm gonna get sick, it's going to the doctor's office. You know what I mean? Because I work from home. I don't like go out that often too, and if I'm not social, I don't go to bars and stuff. So I very rarely get sick. You know what I mean? But while I was there today, those people cough and sneeze. I'm like, dude, I better take an emergency, dude. I feel like if I'm gonna get sick, it's going to the doctor's office. You know what I mean? But all right, chat. Well, thank you so much for watching. I didn't want to, we used to do like 3 hour streams was the regular. I found myself doing like 2.5 hour streams, right? And that's usually pretty good. I don't know how people stream for 12 hours. I used to stream for like 6 hours at a time. I don't know how I used to do it, to be honest with you. I get so tired now. My voice just gets shot by the time I'm done. But yeah, we got a nice little streaming. We tied some flies, chit chatted. So appreciate everyone hanging out. Sunday we got the what do you call it? The other video on coming out. The Bendback sand deal. Point Blank's on. All right, we'll throw a raid to Point Blank. We don't got many folks in here, but we'll throw one. We'll pop in and say hello. It's been a little while. But yeah, so check out Sunday. We're gonna have our Bendback sand deal video edited coming out on YouTube and the giveaway video for the month. So thank you so much for hanging out, Charles, Drew, Papa. Appreciate it. Brew, thank you again as well. Jim, thank you. Royal, Expressed, appreciate you guys. Let's get a raid going here. Unfortunately, you folks on YouTube won't be able to take part in this. It's just on Twitch, but we're essentially just sending the folks over from Twitch over to another creator. Oh, dude, Point Blank. How do I? It's like with a 1, I think, right? This is annoying. Why can't I just look at people I'm following? Yeah, here we go. God, their dashboard's terrible, dude. I hate the Twitch dashboard now. It's so bad. It used to be so nice. Point Blank. Start raid. All right, there we go. Well, thank you so much, chat, for hanging out, watching. Hope you guys have an awesome night. Hey, Neves, have a great weekend, and go out and do some fishing. Appreciate you folks. Everybody on Twitch, go say hello to Point Blank. He's doing some IRL fishing. I'll say hello as well because it's been a little while since I tuned in. But thank you so much for hanging out, and have a great weekend. I'll post in the video in Discord on Sunday, and we'll see you guys next week for some more fly tying, all right? Thank you again. Drew, Papa, appreciate you guys. All right. Jim, thank you again. Thanks for reminding me, too, to send a raid. That's probably a good idea. Anyways, we'll see you, chat. You have a awesome week, and we'll see you. All right. Later. I think Twitch went there, so it's just me and you, YouTube. All right, YouTube. We'll see you guys.